All right, so my next step here is to cut out the legs. So off camera, I took and I milled these set all up. I didn't worry about getting them 4 square. I just have 2 flat parallel sides. I got them to 1 3/4 inches. And each one of these pieces I can cut out both a front and a back leg. I've got my templates here. One thing I want to pay a little bit of attention to within the confines of the limitations of these boards is I want to get the grain running sort of in the direction of these legs to the greatest extent I can. The joinery is going to occur here to the seat. These are going to be for cross braces down here. But I want them to both look nice as well as have function and strength. So I'm going to be tracing these with a Sharpie. I'm going to cut them on the bandsaw rough, and then I'm going to come back and pattern route them to get them to their final shape and dimensions before we start doing joinery and shaping, etc. So With my legs rough cut, my next task is to now pattern route them to the patterns. So I'm going to use this Turner's tape. This stuff works really, really well. Probably way better than you expect. So err on the side of less tape rather than more. Unless he comes flying off in the middle of a cut, you can always adjust if you've got a little bit light. I'm going to pattern route these. It's really, really important you pay attention to the direction of the grain. So this grain is on here, sort of at the end. As you're coming this direction, it's going to be unsupported on the end. You have a tendency to potentially split it out. So this is one of the rare instances where you may want to do a climb cut. Maybe clean this face up here and come backwards around this corner so you're taking off the tiniest bit at a time. And even then, just go as slow as you possibly can in those areas where you're concerned about the direction of the grain. I'm going to do 4 smallish pieces of tape on here. So now just carefully align before we press down, make sure we've got wood exposed around the edges everywhere. I'm particularly concerned in making sure I get it right here, where this is going to become part of the maloof joint to the seat. Here is going to be connected to the stretcher, but I'm just making sure I'm connected everywhere. I've got the bit raised so that the reference, the rollers on the bottom, these I'm going to flip this over to do the routing. That's going to reference against my pattern. I'm going to take off the majority of it in one pass, and then I'm going to come back with the pattern off and finish it.